Good morning. Actually, good afternoon. It is March 5th, 2024. This would be episode 97 of the Paul Green Comedy Podcast. I'm coming to you live from the Philadelphia International Airport, Terminal D, gates D9 through D16, in case you want to know exactly where I was. So this podcast is getting out a lot later than I usually do. I usually like to release these in the morning. However, I have been traveling and I was spending time with a friend who lives in Virginia, and there was not really a break for me to catch everybody up on this podcast episode until now. It is almost 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, I usually like to release these in the morning, but this is the first I could get away to catch everybody up on the Paul Green Comedy Podcast, a podcast by a dreamer for dreamers out there. So I have been traveling like a mofo these last 4 or 5 days. I'm not going to lie, I am not doing well right now. I've got a pretty massive migraine, which I am very much not looking forward to having to fly. So I am flying from Philadelphia to Atlanta, Georgia, and then I will be flying from Atlanta back home to Phoenix. I will not be getting into Phoenix until about midnight Mountain Standard Time. So this was just a really bad day to get a migraine. It's going to be brutal, but I must surge. I must sally forth. I just think, my body is catching up to me with all of the traveling I have been doing. So this morning I woke up and went to the Arlington Cemetary in Virginia, which was very humbling and very sobering. There is just a reverence being surrounded by so much history, so much, so many fallen soldiers and military personnel who have given the ultimate sacrifice for what they believed in. And that was very humbling to just walk around the Arlington Cemetery, learn more about its history. There was so much I didn't know. I didn't know that it used to be a plantation, which was very interesting, and that it used to be a mansion, or there's still a mansion on the property that belonged to Robert E. Lee and then also George Washington for a while. So very, very incredible seeing that. I also tried to go to the Pentagon, which is like right next door to the Arlington Cemetery. I wanted to go to there's a 9/11 memorial there. However, I couldn't really figure out how to get there, and I started to get really uncomfortable because the closer you get to the Pentagon, there starts being all of these signs like authorized vehicles only. If you are not an authorized vehicle, you will get shot on sight. It's not that aggressive, but it just has this feel of like, hey, you're kind of getting close to the Department of Defense. And, if you aren't really supposed to be here, there's going to be consequences. And they are doing a bunch of construction. I don't know what they're up to, but the whole thing was like a construction site. So I'm trying to just drive around and just trying to find where to park so that I could actually just go to the memorial, which I know is somewhere on that premises. And honestly, I really couldn't find where to go. And I was already sort of wanting to get back on the road to get to here, to get to Philadelphia. I didn't want to miss my flight. So unfortunately, I was not able to see the Pentagon 9/11 memorial, but I did drive by the Pentagon. And I'll tell you, that is a very formidable, gigantic building. Just being close to it and seeing how large it really is was a little overwhelming. But other than that, I drove back from Virginia all the way through Washington, D.C., so I got to take one last look at D.C. I could see the Capitol building and the Jefferson Memorial, and all of that fun stuff, and then drove straight through until, just straight back to Philadelphia. It's really kind of interesting to me how close together everything in the East is, as opposed to the West. It's like out here on the East Coast, it's like, you could hit like 4 like major Eastern cities within a couple of hours. It's like for me to go from Philadelphia through Delaware, through Baltimore to DC to Virginia, all within just a couple hours drive. And, from Philadelphia, you can get up to New York, you can get to Atlantic City, you can get to New Jersey, you can get all these other places also with just in an hour or two. So it is a little bit different than, I think being on the West Coast, just in terms of how tight-knit the geography is. Which is also kind of cool that it's like, man, just one little car ride, and I was able to see a lot of Americana, a lot of American history, and connect with those sites. And, when I really started to think about at the Arlington Cemetary and really just trying to take in what it was that I was walking through and what I was experiencing. And I really just started to think about in context of dreams, because those who follow this podcast know that I'm a big believer in dreams and going for what you want in life and pursuing big goals, even if they seem audacious. And I thought a lot about this concept of sacrificing for something that's bigger than you. Obviously, in a cemetery like Arlington, which is surrounded by, military personnel who believed in a cause, believed in their country, believed in service, believed in sacrifice, and who were willing to sign up to go on these just God-forsaken, horrific, military excursions. And, we could go on all day about the different ways that, different wars and different battles and different ways that, these so many young soldiers lose their life in service of what they believe in. And it really got me thinking about how the only reason that I am even able to pursue my own dream is because other people made sacrifices for me that I will never even know. I mean, you just see how many gravestones there are. I mean, it's just as far as the eye can see, and just to think how many people signed up to go engage in something so horrific and ugly and brutal, and ultimately died. And here I am, traveling from state to state to state, free as can be, enjoying my time, and just, I just get to go for a walk around the cemetery and look at a couple of names and then just get to leave and go on and live my life. So it's, it's humbling and it's sobering, and on a more personal level, I think about how many people have made sacrifices just for me so that I could live, my parents, my family, extended family, people involved in my upbringing, teachers and different, church leaders and scout leaders and, coaches and music teachers and all kinds of individuals who had an influence on my upbringing, who were, in essence, doing what they felt in their heart, but part of that was being involved in teaching me or training me in some context or another so that I can be alive and that I can get to a point to where I can start to forge my own path and pursue my own dreams. And started to think of like, man, am I doing that for anybody else? Am I that for somebody? Have I, made a sacrifice or I showed up in somebody's life in a manner that was beneficial or helped them or was of service to them? Hopefully, to some degree, this podcast serves that purpose, at least to a very small scale, that, anybody who maybe is looking to pursue a dream or needs, a little inspiration or a little guidance, maybe they listen to this podcast and, I'm not making any money. I'm not monetized. You know what I mean? By the way, I know it sounds like I may have just compared myself to the fallen soldiers in Arlington. I hope it does not come across that way, because I definitely do not feel that I have behaved in any manner consistent with those who have made such ultimate sacrifices. But from the concept of, pursuing what is in my heart and trying to put something out in the world with a positive intent without any real guarantee or immediate reciprocity. Again, I'm not making any money off of this. I'm not getting really any benefit other than I just wanted to share and express my thoughts and feelings about what it means to pursue your dreams in life and really go for them, and the ups and downs and the struggles and the benefits and the joys and the heartbreaks and the discouragement and all of that, because I know that pursuing dreams is what has given my life significant meaning. And if me sharing this can be in any way a positive influence to others out there who are pursuing dreams, then that's what I'm up to. And and I don't even really consider myself an altruistic person. I pursue plenty of things for my own selfish, gratification. So again, I'm not trying to tout myself as some sort of Gandhi over here. And at the same time, just realizing that even the fact that I can do this, that I can just sit in an airport in Philadelphia and set up a camera and talk into a microphone and post this on an internet for anybody who happens upon it to consume freely, is all possible because of how many thousands, if not millions, of people have made sacrifices of their own to make that possible for me. And that really does just fill me with a sense of humility and gratitude that my life is what it is, and that I, as much as I can, get to make of it what I choose, and that I get to pursue my dreams as best as I can, and do so in a country that guarantees me certain freedoms that I didn't pay for and that I didn't die for, but that I definitely get to live in a certain way because of. And I think in some regard, it's almost me pursuing my dream as best as I can and fully as I can, to me is almost my way of showing my appreciation for those who have made sacrifices so that I can even do it. It's almost like, not squandering away that gift, or that's how I show my appreciation for the opportunities and freedoms that I've been given, is by me doing my best to go fully live those freedoms and to live those opportunities and make the most of them as best as I can. And that's what I'm trying to do. So, and I think that's what dreaming is all about. I think dreaming is really showing appreciation and gratitude for whatever life you have been given, that I have been given, for whatever reason, by whatever or whoever creator, and for anybody who's gone before us that has given us any sort of any sort of opportunity. The best way to show gratitude and appreciation is to make the most of that life and to go for our dreams and do so as passionately and with as much energy as we can. So that's what I'm trying to do. And that's, to me, what dreaming is all about. And I hope that all of you are out there doing the same. So, a little bit of a more of a sombering message here on today's podcast, but that's what I'm thinking through, and that's what's on my mind, and that's what's on my heart. So I thank you all so much for listening. I hope that your dreams are going well, you're out there pursuing them, and that you are finding the courage and enthusiasm to move forward and follow your path, follow your dreams, follow your ambitions, and to show gratitude for those who have made those opportunities available to you by pursuing them. So I am going to sign off for today and go hop on 2 planes, get back to Phoenix. I will check in again with you tomorrow. Until then, I love you all so much. Thank you for listening. This is March 5th, 2024, episode 97 of the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast, a podcast by a dreamer for dreamers. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.